All right, we are live. What's going on? It's Jeff and Dave with the Teach Better team, and this is your Teach Better Brain Break for Wednesday, December 23rd. Dave, I can't believe it's the 23rd. That's crazy. We're like right there. We're almost to the end of the year. It's nuts. And we're inching really close to a year of brain breaks, which is not
Wow.
quite there. We have to get a little further into 21 to get there, but we're getting close. So this is crazy. So stick around. We're gonna be right back. We've got no plan for today. We're gonna talk. We're gonna listen to you in the comments and see which way this goes. We've got some stuff we'll talk about next week's 12-hour live, maybe what's going on for the holidays, and we may or may not give some stuff away, so stick around. We'll be right back. All right. Here we are again. I was about to say the last brand break, but it's not the last brand break.
Not.
We'll have a brand
No,
break
it's
next week. Still going to do it. So, how are you doing, man? How's your day?
I don't know if you realize this, Jeff. We get 2 brain breaks next week.
We get 2 brand breaks next week.
Back days, man.
Lots of breaks. So we're going to do a brain break in the middle of our 12-hour live. We're actually going to be an hour earlier than our normal brain breaks because it has to be at 4 o'clock Eastern time. But then we're like, hey, are we still going to do a brain break on Wednesday? We're like, yeah, of course we are.
Yeah.
Like, why not, right? So we've got kind of a fun thing we're going to do for the brain break during the 12-hour live. We're going to do some bracketology stuff with something different that I think will be fun and entertaining.
I got Dick Vitale to join us. He'll be here.
Is he really? Oh, good.
I did not tell you that. So
he and I were texting, and he alluded to it, but he didn't confirm that he was coming for sure. So that's good to know. Hey, if you're watching right now, let us know where you're at. Let us know where you're watching, what platform you're at, and what's going on, and let us know what you want to talk about. We can take some questions.
Yeah,
we can play some.
I'm going to point this out to you real quick. I just noticed that we have this yin and yang thing going on with us right now. As I'm looking at myself on camera, I feel like I look like I should be like in a country music video or something with my thing. And you got the punk rock classroom hoodie going on.
I do have the punk rock classroom going on. Yeah.
That's well played on your part.
Yeah. I figured it was good. The funny thing is, I go into my closet because I'm like, I should change out of my sweatshirt and put on something different for the brain break. And I just put on another sweatshirt.
You know what's interesting? You said we've been doing this almost a year. I have never once had that thought of I should probably go change for the brain break. Not once did that thought crossed my mind.
Well, and it's weird because I had a Stowe's sweatshirt on for our local schools here, and I'm like, I should put something on related to them. I'm like, I'll just put a sweatshirt on. So that's where I'm at. So anyway, Lindsay's in the house. Lindsay, good to see you. Always nice to see you here. Megan Wells on Facebook, good to see you. Megan represented North Texas. Awesome. And Danielle bringing up YouTube. I love it. She says, hello, my brain break buddies. Just finished the second coat of paint in my laundry room. New year, new look.
I can imagine that second coat was a rush to get done because you knew you had to be here for this.
Had to get here. Yeah. Patty coming in from Long Island. Say, can we talk about Jingle All the Way? Get out of here, Patty.
No, we cannot, Patty.
I love Patty. She keeps coming back. Chelsea, Nicolina's in the house. Good to see you, Chelsea. Down the road from me here.
Yeah, Chelsea sent me a nice little DM on Instagram with a request for really the Teach Better team, Jeff Gargas.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw this out here, knowing full well that there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. So today,
sounds great.
Today is one of my favorite holidays. It is not Christmas Eve. Today is Festivus. Today is Festivus. Today is a day where if you and I were close together, we would be entering some sort of.
Is that a holiday for the rest of us? Is that?
It is. It is.
I just want to clarify. Yeah. Good.
For sure. You and I would be engaged in some sort of feat of strength today if it wasn't for the pandemic. But it's also the day where we can air our grievances. So I threw out this thing on Instagram and asked people to just air their grievances with me. Tell me what it is that they need to know. Today's their day of free pass. And I got a little grievance today. The grievance
from
was
Chelsea?
Yeah. The grievance was why are you and Caitlin Giordano only spending a half hour during the 12-hour live talking about grades and assessment? That's a legit grievance.
And technically, you're on for an hour or a half hour before that. So you do have an hour. You guys are allowed to take that first half hour wherever you want. So maybe we get the grading prior to. So that's always an option. That's a good grievance to have, Chelsea. I totally agree with that. We didn't want them to get going too far into it. We figure once they get past like the 30, if they get to like 31 or 32 minutes, there's no stopping them at that point. We would just like be stuck the whole day, which may not be a bad thing for a lot of people, in a lot of people's minds.
I was looking at the schedule with a little bit of scrutiny today and realized you guys were smart. You put you put Dave Burgess right after that because you know that's
got to boot you.
Me up, right?
Got to boot you. Well, not only Dave, but Shelly. Dave and Shelly both.
That's awesome.
Going to be with us. And then somewhere in the mix of that hour with Dave and Shelly, Tara and Marisol are going to join us as well. We'll get the core group of that runs that pirate ship, which is going to be a lot of fun too. So Joe says no grievance with you two. Dave, you and your book rock. Just the one, not the other ones. Just the one book rocks. The other one, they're a little shaky.
Whatever, I'll take it.
So I think we're a little early on giveaways, but I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna do a giveaway because it popped in my. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. We're gonna wait till the 15-minute mark.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
I've got it already. It's simple, but it'll be fun. Becky, good to see you. She says, "Whoa, dudes, it's Wednesday." It is. It's crazy that it's Wednesday, isn't it?
I think we're at that point now where we can safely say all educators in the States are probably on break now. We couldn't quite do that Monday or Tuesday, but I think
they should be. Yeah. Right? I think everyone that was still going was wrapping up today. So happy holiday break to you. Whether you've been on it for a few days or I don't know, has anybody been on about a week at this point? I don't know if anybody's that far, but if you're on it for a few days or if you're just on today, happy winter break to you. I hope you're already in the process of, if not already there, of relaxing, like re-energizing, just doing what you need to do. Maybe you got a glass of wine. Maybe you got yourself your favorite snack by the fire, whatever you need to do. I hope you're already there. So Joe says books are a marathon for me, not a sprint. I agree. Same way. Mark Horner's in the house. What's up, Mark? What up, party people? Good to see you. You see Mark's on break. Comes in with what up, party people. Right on it. I did not bring up our group. I'm doing bad as a host here. So I forget. I didn't see who this is. This says first day of break, but I don't care because they are excited. I'm gonna bring up the group real quick to make sure I see all that. I apologize to everyone watching for my lack of professionalism here. Right on it. It's really bad. Oh, that was Jeremy. Jeremy Wrinkle's in the house. What's up, Jeremy?
What? Wrinkle?
I know. It doesn't happen. Right. It doesn't happen often enough.
We got Wrinkle. We got Horn. This is awesome. Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff going on now. I think Mark says finally break. I think Jeremy, maybe he's already into the wine because he says it's Jerry, like he just stopped. But good to see you, Jeremy. Always good to see you here.
Like Cher, one name, he's one syllable.
That's what he's changing to, Jerry. Yeah. So I just think, let's face it, it's on our minds. We were talking about it before. We've been talking about it a lot. I know a lot of people that are watching are hopefully going to be with us on Tuesday, the 29th. So next week, from 8 a.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern, our 12-hour live event. So let's chat about this. So this is something cool because you're going to be on there, Dave, quite a bit. Yeah. You're moderating a few of the segments, which is kind of cool. Back in June when we did it, we look back and like Ray and I, either one of us, like we weren't. There was only like 20 minutes where we weren't on screen when we had breaks and stuff, and it was kind of crazy. And I was like, "Oh, you're gonna be tired." I'm like, "No, this is gonna be a lot easier because we got this awesome team stepping up, and like people are jumping in and like moderating and taking over some of the different segments that yourself and Megan and Livia and Josh and Becky and I can't think of who else, but like taking over, which is gonna be really cool. So we talked about you and Caitlin chatting for a little bit. Pretty early in the morning, you guys take over. But then you're back later, and you've got a couple of the folks from our admin mastermind chatting. Yep. So you've seen the schedule.
Yep.
If you're watching, you haven't seen the schedule. It's out on social media now. We're posting out there. You can see, every segment. We got people coming in every 30 to 60 minutes throughout the entire day. Dave, what segment are you most excited about outside of the one with you and Caitlin?
Well,
that's not fair. That's like you and Caitlin. Yeah. That's like the diehard of this bracket. Okay, like
set that to the side. So I'm excited because I was looking at. I get to hang out for 5 hours during the 12.
Is it 5 hours total that you were
5 hours?
Okay, that you're on. Wow.
Exciting, which is pretty exciting. I get to hang out with Caitlin. I get to hang out with mastermind people. I get to hang out with EduMatch authors. I get to hang out with the Teach Better team. Like I think I drew like if you guys were just randomly picking names out of a hat, I won every single round of the pick. I'm stoked about the people I get to hang out with. However, when I also look at some of the other ones that are happening, so I get to like sandwich. I'm kind of in the middle and kind of at the end. There's some amazing stuff happening in the middle of the day that I'm looking at, trying to think, okay, I'm going to be just locked into this thing all day long. How do I engage without just like taking over the comments section and fangirling out all day long? Like you got Dave and Shelly Burgess, and then you got Tara, like you said, joining us. You got the podcast. You've got Mandy Freilich, the Speakers Network. I mean, so many amazing people are chiming in. It's like a telethon without the corny money asks, and just people that are absolutely incredible saying, yeah, I'll come hang out for a little while. Yeah. I honestly, when I look at it, I don't know if I were to try to pick like, okay, where am I going to sneak in some dinner or some lunch and not be logged in? 7:30 a.m., 8:30 p.m. You know, that's what I've got right now. I don't know where else to pencil it in.
I think it's gonna be tough. Fun fact here. We actually did draw the names out of a hat. But what we discovered later, and it was just too late, we had already laid it out, is that Dave actually snuck in and put his name in the hat 38 times, which is why he's on there as much as he is. So, you know, it's just what it is. Danielle wants to know, what Sam Adams are you drinking today, Dave?
All right, well, Danielle, because she's played this game before, I think she's writing down her notes thinking she's going to win something today. Yeah. So, Danielle, this is a Sam Adams Winter Lager. Yes. Our first official week of winters here. So, Sam Adams Winter Lager.
I love it. Jody's here. Jody, good to see you. Eric, guys, good to see you as well, brother. And Livia's here. Pack your lunch, Dave. Just pack it. There you go. But just, I'm trying to think, like, I'm going to have, like,
I'm going to invite myself
to get me through the day.
I've been an adult now, I'll say 22 years or so, 43-year-old man. You know how many times I packed my lunch in 43 years? Twice, maybe. So, yeah, it's not happening. Sorry. I might order some pizza in or something, but yeah.
You can be on screen getting the pizza. I'm just going to have some snacks off to the side. I'm going to kind of set myself up here with some, some protein and some sugar, like,
Well played. And you got to make sure you have your cocktail ready for 4 p.m. because
you can have cocktails at 4 p.m. We're moving it soon. That's actually we did it for a long time. It was at 4, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then at some point we shifted to the 5 o'clock. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be really exciting. It's actually a really, really difficult thing to do because you want to have so many people on, and you want to ask so many other people, and like then there's a point where you have to start like making decisions and moving. It's really tough, and like everyone, people that want to be a part of it, like they want to do, be on and do the best they can and stuff. And it's tough. We're beating ourselves up. It's like, oh, we need to ask this person, or this person said they could help if they need it, but we already filled up all the slots. And how do we get more people? We want to give everybody more time on camera and all that stuff. And I'm like, that's why we should have done 24 hours.
And I'm going to say this, and it's going to come across harsh, but I think it comes with love. That's why I was so grateful you were sick a couple of weeks ago, Jeff, because I just sent Ray a bunch of messages and said, "Oh yeah, Jeff said I'm supposed to be on this time too. Make a graphic." Jeff said I'm on this time too. And so she just made a bunch of graphics for like 5 hours and had my name. And then by the time you came back in, you're like, "What happened?" And Ray said, "I thought you approved it." You're like, "Did I? I don't remember." And then here I am, Jeff. So yeah,
well played.
Yeah, it worked.
Very well played. Very, very well done. That's good stuff. Joe says, get a Cliff Bar and Gatorade or goo.
That makes the next day a little rough, but yeah.
Danielle says what we're all thinking. Should have done the 24. 12's good. So we talked about this before. I think I got to the point where I was trying to get Ray to say yes to 24. And then she said yes to 24. I realized that I really just was enjoying like the act of like trying to get her to say yes. I didn't actually want her to say yes because 24 was just pushing it. If we do decide to do this again in the future, and we do decide to go longer, I think we'll go to 18 next, and then we'll see if it goes from there. So we'll see how that happens. Christy saying hello from frozen, windy weather in Nebraska. So glad that you're on with us too, Christy. Thank you. And holy cow, we've got a sight-in for everyone to hear. Jeff Kaplan coming in from Georgia. Jeff, good to see you, brother.
Absolutely.
Always good to see you chiming in. I think that means it's time. Let's do some sort of giveaway. Let's give something away here. Wrinkle says he'll do the 3 a.m. segment. It's only 2 a.m. for Jeremy, I think. So, whatever. No, we didn't talk. That was one of the things we talked about. If we were going to do like a 24 hour, we've got friends and colleagues and stuff from around the world that would be able to come in. That wouldn't be as crazy, and it could be really interesting. But they were like, yeah, but does anybody really want to watch like an hour and a half of Jeff sleeping? Like, is that going to be entertaining? Probably not, but we'll see what happens. So, all right, quick giveaway. This is for a copy of Teach Better, the book. And we're going to do, at the beginning of this episode, at the beginning of everything here, Dave was talking about Festivus. Today is Festivus, and the Aaron of Grievances. Who created Festivus?
Ooh.
First and last name. Who created Festivus? First one to comment. Teach Better coming your way. Jeff said he's just played 2 games of disc golf here in Georgia. He's a disc golf guy. He's like a pro, I think. So excited to find out who created Festivus. I'm just counting on you to know the answer to this to confirm it for me too, Dave. So, so comment in there, let us know. So are you airing any grievances? Do you have any grievances today? Are you? Have you done that already? Did you line your kids up and like just let them have it? Dan O'Keefe?
No, it is not Dan O'Keefe.
Jerry Stiller.
Okay.
Not really.
Sort of.
But not technically. Technically, it was Frank Costanza, who's played by Jerry Stiller, but his name is Frank Costanza. It was I don't think Jerry Stiller actually created it. We should look that up. Yeah. I don't think he actually created it. So I guess technically we could go figure out who the writer is. But what we were looking for here was Frank Costanza, because in the show Seinfeld, that's where he chatted there. So Megan came in just a second too late with George Costanza's dad. Jeff came in to let us know that his new name is Costanza. Costanza. He corrected himself with Mister, but I got to give him some for that. Kalissa's here. Good to see you, Kalissa. Thanks for jumping in. All right, so that was Jody. Jody, I know I have it already, but throw me your address and an email, jeff@teachbetter.com, and I'll get you that book out to you. We'll get that on the way. So good stuff. That was an easy one, but it's a fun one because
absolutely.
Okay, so back to the grievances. Have you done that yet, or are you planning? Is that like an evening like celebration for your family?
Well, as soon as we're done here, the poll is going to go up.
Okay.
And then one at a time, me and my kids will enter into the feats of strength. So
okay, so you do each kid gets that. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. I have to remind them that I'm dad.
And is it arm wrestle? Is it full out like?
Oh,
wrestle or is it?
Oh yeah, I'm
okay.
Absolutely, yeah. So we'll take care of that first, and then once our adrenaline is going and they're nice and ripe to start airing their grievances, I'll allow them to air grievances first, and I'm assuming that I'll have a fair share of their grievances.
Sure.
But then I reciprocate, and I warn them ahead of time that whatever they say will be reciprocated back from dad. So be prepared, and away we go. Yeah.
So let me ask you this: you've got 4 kids, yes?
Yes, I do.
The ages range from
15 down to 5.
15 down to 5. Now I would guess the 15-year-old probably gives you the toughest battle for feet of strength. But is that true? Like, where's the hardest? Like, who really gives you the hardest struggle there?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, of the 4, I've got one little girl, and she's kind of I'm impressed with her, and plus she's my little princess, and I'm always like gently like I'll lay her down, and she'll come out and
that's where she attacks.
I'm like, where'd that come from? Yeah, so she's kind of sneaky, and then my 5-year-old, my youngest. He is like a little squirrel. He will just hold on and grip, and he's got claws. And I mean, those 2 give me the best run for my money. Whereas like the 15-year-old, I'm like, let's go, son. I got to remind you something. And that one's fun because he'll go all out. We can have some fun. And then Yeah, so that's kind of where things stand. He'll probably have the best grievances though when it comes down to it.
I was going to say three more questions, 2 for you, 1 for our audience here.
Okay.
I'm going to ask the audience first, just so they can come in while I'm asking you too. Audience, if you're listening or watching, I would love to know I would love to have you in the comments air your grievances towards Dave. So if you can go ahead and start that'd be great. Dave, 2 more for you. 1, and you kind of started alluding to which of the 4 kids do you expect the either the most or the harshest grievances when they start airing them towards you?
Oh yeah, my 15-year-old for
okay.
Easy. He is the straight shooter of the bunch. Like the other 3, they'll tap dance, or my daughter will just say, "Nothing, Daddy, you're perfect," which is probably the most accurate. But my 15-year-old, he'll come guns a-blazing. I'm sure he's probably got some written down in his back pocket that he started writing December 24th of 2019, just waiting for today. So
then the second part of that question is then, of your 4 children, who will you hit the hardest with your grievances when you're airing them? Or does it go to your wife or to the mirror?
The mirror, yes. That's every day. That's daily. But then it all depends on what's said to me. So like if they're just filled with praise, then that's what's coming back at them. It'll just be sunshine and rainbows. But if they come, then be ready, because Daddy is well equipped. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah. And Eric, I agree with you.
Is this because we haven't got your hats up? Is that what this is?
I think
that's because your hat kind of looks like it's not completely finished.
No. Eric has been waiting for a hat to wear for a long time.
What hat is he looking for?
Is
this on me? Is this something I need to put together?
Well, I'm not going to grieve this one. I'll let him kind of explain it. But
what hat does he want? We need to make it happen.
Well, I think Holly Stewart is looking for a similar hat as well. So I'll let the crowd speak. I don't want to speak on their behalf.
Alrighty.
But this hat right here that I got today, I don't know if you guys can actually see it or not.
I like that. Yeah, coffee until cocktails. I like it.
That's fun.
Which just fits. It makes sense.
It does.
That's sort of how I live my life as well. So that's good. So all right. Another thing we want to touch on, just because because tomorrow is Christmas Eve, so if you celebrate Christmas, like we're right there, it's Christmas Eve. A lot of people have a lot of things going on Christmas Eve. Just to make sure everyone is aware, we are still doing Mastery Chat. That is still on over on Twitter at the same time, 8 o'clock Eastern time, like always. I'm actually going to moderate this one tomorrow, and we were talking about not waiting for 2021. So like not waiting to start after your goals, not waiting to plan, not waiting to be better. Starting now. I've never been a fan of New Year's resolutions. My thing have always been like, well, if you were going to do that, why didn't you start on December 6th, December 10th, whatever? So things like that. Like last year was a big one for me, was to start with my whole fried food things and cutting out fried chicken and such. And I did that midway through the December instead of waiting, because otherwise I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to like pig out on fried food for the entire December. My thing is, if it's important enough to make a New Year's resolution, it's just you should start the second you think of it. If that's on January 1, then that's fine. So it's just kind of around that and around, sharing some tools and ideas and things that we do when it comes around to like planning and vision and goals and stuff like that. So we are going to be doing that. Not that anyone's asking for more of it, but Dave's going to join me live afterwards to talk through the chat. And I believe what we're going to try and do is actually bring up a third screen and have the Santa tracker going. So we're going to see if that works, and that's how we do it. So I hope you will join us tomorrow for Mastery Chat. If you go to teachbetter.com/Mastery Chat, the questions are up there. You can schedule your answers so that's in there, and then you don't have to be as into it if you don't want to. But we'll be live again as well tomorrow night. So that's still happening. Is also going to happen on the 31st on New Year's Eve with Trey Gamage leading us as well, which is going to be a really, really great chat. So that's all happened there. So Eric is
talk about that a little bit. Sorry, go ahead. Let's go to Eric's thing real quick.
Yeah, let's. But we're gonna come back to that. I just saw it pop up. From one of Dave's books, you introduced him to peanut butter whiskey, and he says we're even. So you don't need to. So one of the hats from one of your books that we're supposed to be producing is that what's going on right now?
Well, I think what it is Eric has seen. Let me see if I've got one.
Yeah, you have the hats.
I don't know where it is right now. One of my bike hats, I think, is what Eric is looking for. Yeah. So tell you what,
I'm just glad to know that's on you and not me.
Eric, if you want one of my greasy head hats that has been worn already with my bald head juice that is dripped, let me know. Shoot me a message. I'll send you one.
That's how he gets the price way up, the bids way up on eBay, is by mentioning that you've worn it, you've sweat in it. It's got, anyway. Yep. He did note that the fact that you introduced him to peanut butter whiskey makes you even, so it's all good. So
yeah, you're welcome.
I'm sorry. Right before that, you were about to say, "Let's talk about something." What do you want to talk about?
Because we were talking about like not waiting until next year, not waiting until the new year. Go ahead and set your goals, resolutions, start doing things now, which is an interesting concept. I'm going to take a little right turn because that's what I do. So in the Teach Better Facebook group last weekend, somebody brought up a comment or a question about standards-based grading and wanted to know, should they wait until next year?
I did see that, yeah.
Yeah, and it started this amazing conversation. I actually ended up having a nice 2-hour conversation with this person today online.
Nice, okay.
But it was this awesome conversation and this question about, when do I start? When do I start something new? And as a building administrator, I used to hate it when teachers would come to me and say, I can't wait for next year, blah, blah, blah. Because I'd say, no, start now and start figuring it out now. I hated that. So tomorrow in Mastery Chat, like this theme, what is your stance? Do you think that there's magic in January 1st, or like when do you start?
No, I think if you wait and you put on January 1st, it's really unlikely that you're going to hit it. But I mean, this is like, I go back to like anytime I do anything like that, like when I started running and lost whatever it was 40 pounds that I lost from running and stuff, that started with Amy and I were on our way back from Canada. We were on a 10-hour trip back, and I made the decision based off of just thinking up there and having that time to reflect. I'm like, I'm going to start getting up early and running and working out. And I'm like, and this was on a Saturday. I said, I have to do it. I have to get up tomorrow, because if I wait till Monday, it won't happen. And I got up the next day. Even though we got home, our neighbors were throwing us a party, so we ended up being up way late. And it was crazy. Even I got up and I did it, and that's what started. Like, for me, is like if it's something that's supposed to be a priority in life, and you're putting in the time to think through it and plan for it, unless there's a very like an actual constraint that does not allow it to happen because you have to wait for like a window of something to open or whatever, like why do you wait? Like, why, if you're thinking about it on a Friday, why do you wait till Monday? Well, typically it's because you don't actually want to do it on Saturday, Sunday, which means it's really unlikely you're going to do it on Monday too. If you're thinking about it right now on December 23rd and you're going to wait until January 1st, like there's just a really unlikely chance you're going to do it, and that you're not going to stick through it, because if it's not enough in you and you're not excited about enough, or you're not determined enough to start today or tomorrow, then why do you think you're going to continue just because it's January 1st? Like, it's just another day. It's not actually a new anything. Like, it's a new year because someone way back in Roman times said it was the start of a new year. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, you're still living your normal life. Like, especially when talking about like, I mean, I know as educators, you're starting, getting back to it, but it's still the same school year. Like, you're still in the, you know what I mean? Like, things are still there. If you're looking at the business side of school, it's still the same fiscal year. Like, it's not even that, right? So to me, it's like, why wait? Just get started to it. Now, January 1st might be the first day that you actually put it in action, but you should be planning it right now. But for me, it's like, if you can start it now, start it now.
Yeah.
That's just, I just think you're so, I mean, look at the stats for like New Year's resolutions and how many people actually like stick to them. Like, I don't know what the stats are, but it's really low. Like,
no, for sure.
Yeah, January's usually, well, not this year, but usually it's like the biggest like sales days for gyms are, that first couple days or a week of January. But then by February 3rd, those gyms are back to empty because it just doesn't work, because it wasn't actually a priority. We get caught up in this, like, I'm supposed to change this, I'm supposed to come up with a resolution. And it's like, well, you should be doing that all the time and figuring out and making changes for the better. But that's just me.
No, I think that it's good stuff. I think I'm thinking about through my own lens. I think what actually happens for me is I make resolutions every single year, but I spend that week really between Christmas and New Year's experimenting with my resolutions. If any whatsoever, like I try to figure out my baseline so I can figure out what a reasonable goal might be. So if I'm going to set some sort of running goal, I'll run quite a bit the week between Christmas and New Year, so I can figure out okay, this is what I was able to do in a week. How much could I do next year? Or I'll
Mm-hmm.
step on the scale a few times next week to figure out where I am. But what I think some people do is they treat this time of year almost like it's a big bachelor party. Like they're saying, oh, last hurrah before everything changes. Like all of a sudden, the strike of midnight when the ball drops on New Year's Eve, the world is going to change. And
Mm-hmm.
instantaneously, they're not going to have that craving for dessert anymore. They're going to have this drive to change their instructional practices just because the calendar changed, even though they haven't really done anything to reestablish a baseline or to
Sure.
even start dabbling to figure out what's necessary. So, yeah, I'm intrigued by that.
For me, like one of the things is if you're always thinking January 1 is when you make the decisions, then some point in the middle of the year, subconsciously your mind's going to start saying, I don't have to make these changes. I don't have to do anything
Yeah.
different. I don't have to improve. I don't have to grow. I don't have to be better because on January 1, that's when I'm going to get it done.
Yeah.
Versus just getting it done. Right. I mean, so, and I get what you're saying because you actually put you put much more thought and planning into that last week, but it's like, why don't you do that? And then maybe you do. But why don't you do that in March?
Yeah. Well,
Why
I'm a
don't you do
bigger
that
geek.
in May, in August, right, and things like that. So, because another thing is, you make a decision specifically for teachers. You're making a decision during winter break to change things. You're living in a different world. Your schedule is very different right now than it's going to be on January 15th or whatever. So, like, you run this risk of making the decision and testing your limits and stuff like that in a world that you don't actually live in for most of the year. And so
Yep.
that goes for everyone. A lot of people have, at least days off and extra, longer weekends, stuff like that, where they can make those decisions. But you're also in a different mindset. You get this like adrenaline rush that you're not going to have 3 weeks into the year. And
Yeah.
so, now, with all
Yeah.
that said, we still plan. At the end of our year, we plan, but that's a lot large for us. A lot of times, it's because as a business, our fiscal year ends, so that's why we're planning that. But we do that. We also plan every weekly and monthly and every quarter as well too, because we're constantly looking at it. But yeah, I don't know, and I don't I'm not saying my viewpoint's right by any means. There's a
No, I
lot of
just
stuff I've started in the middle of the year that I don't finish. So
I think it's good, and I take it to a whole nother extreme, and I acknowledge this, and I've showed people before the big whiteboard that I have next to me, but I obsess over my whiteboard because my whiteboard for people that don't necessarily see these patterns, I'm just gonna be explicit with things. You might see me all over social media Monday through Saturday, but on Sundays it's kind of quiet, and I'm going to explain why that is. And it's not because I'm taking a day of rest or anything like that. It's because on my whiteboard that I have next to me, I've got my bucket list, the things that I want to accomplish over the next 50 plus years. And then every year I come up with goals that get me closer to my bucket list. If I can't connect the dots, it doesn't become a goal for the year. But then every month I have goals to get me closer to the yearly. And every single week I sit down and write down things that are going to get me closer.
Mm-hmm.
In my week, I run my week Monday through Sunday. So if on Sunday I haven't done the stuff to get me closer to the following week, be ready. Schmittou is going to be on a frenzy, and I am like, that's why I am like head down to the grindstone doing it. And I know that's obsessive. It's crazy. It's ridiculous how intense that is and how driven that is. But it also goes back to like it aligns to this bigger purpose. I don't want to come up with a New Year's resolution that's just going to get me to March or April. My New Year's resolution for 21 needs to get me closer to where I want to be in 2050. Otherwise, it's just a blip. Just like whatever my New Year's resolution is, shouldn't be just for January. It should take me through the whole year. Everything needs to align to help make me better. So,
do you use any kind of planner or go anything in process like that, or is this just sort of what you piece together? Because the way you lay out your long-term vision and then your years and down to your days, your weeks and everything, is very, very similar and very close to align with like the focus planner, like by Michael Hyatt and like his focus planner and that method of having your learn, which is how any kind of planning should be. It's also like I do a 10-year vision thing that I've been working through. That's like the same type of thing you're looking at. Now you said you looked out much further than 10 years, but same type of thing. Then you backwards design, and then eventually you get to what am I having to do on a weekly and daily basis, and every week you're assessing that, and then every day you should be assessing that as well.
yeah.
But is that just sort of over time you
Yeah.
kind of pick things from here and there and
Oh yeah, yeah.
works for you. And
It's just something I've been doing literally for 20 years now with a
yeah,
dry erase board and markers. And my process at this time of year isn't necessarily really focused on how am I going to do those things. It really, this is the time of year where I'm looking to say, do I still have the same life goals? Do I still have the same dreams for what life will look like in 2050?
Yeah.
And if I can say, yeah, that's still what I want, then I go down to the next level back. You know, I'm the standards-based grading guy. I live in that world where I have this expectation, and then I work from there. So I start with what my standard of living looks like at the end goal, and I back up. And literally, I've got a green marker, a red marker, a blue marker, a black marker. It's all color coded based off of my goals, and everything needs to match up and line up. And as a result, it's allowed me to say yes to a lot of things, but it helps me be strategic on saying no if there's a goal or an opportunity that's presented that doesn't necessarily match up, that I know will distract me from reaching one of my other objectives. Then it gives me a better peace about saying, sorry, this doesn't fit right now. So.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah. Just yet another glimpse into a day in the life of Schmittou. So
I like it.
Taking you on that journey.
I'd be curious to see if you're still paying any attention to us right now. Like, it'd be really cool to share. Like, do you set New Year's resolutions? How do you look at that stuff? And I want to be clear. Like, when I say that I don't think that makes sense, that doesn't mean that it doesn't work for people. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. That's just me. I'll never believe that the ways that I do things are the ways that's right for everyone or anyone else but me until they try it and see it that way. So like if you do set New Year's resolutions, like don't like I'm not knocking that. Like that's just my theory on why they don't work for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And the science says, the research says they don't stick because
and I think
thing that we throw out there. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but I'd love to hear how you are if you're watching now. Like how what kind of planning do you do? Do you do like a month-to-month thing? Do you typically just, is it a New Year's resolution thing and nothing carries you? During Mastermind the other day, we did, we talked a little bit on the one word, which I know like Lindsay Titus has a workshop that she's doing on sometime very soon. I can't remember when that is. Do you know when that is?
I think it's next week. I think it's next week.
Next week?
Yeah.
Things like that. So like, a lot of people, that's not a resolution, but it is something that you're deciding at the beginning of the year that's going to carry you through the year and stuff like that. So, it'd be interesting to hear. And that's what a lot of tomorrow night is about too, is like, it's not, this is how I feel, so you should. It's, let's share how we all do this. Cause you never know when something's going to click and be like, oh, okay. So, Megan does it that way. So I've never thought of it that way. Or Dave does this, this big board that he's got 50 years out, like bucket list. Like I haven't done that. What does that look like for me? And, so I like it. Danielle says, I am about to change right now. So she likes to move on it quick. I'm liking that. I'm good with that. Nikki, good to see you. Nikki says she's jumping in late. She was having dinner with her parents. That is acceptable. That's perfectly fine. However, Dave might air you being here late as a grievance later when he's talking. So you won't be there, so you won't hear it, and it's okay. So anyway,
maybe that's my out this year. Maybe I'll set my kids down, and instead of airing grievances on them, I'll just say, "Here's my grievance towards Nikki." And I'll let my kids hear it. Here's my grievance towards Danielle, and I'll just let them hear it. And we'll be able to do it in the privacy of our own home. And
just do me a favor. Don't air your grievances towards me to your kids, because I'm really afraid that like you'd make them cry. And they don't need to bear that.
Okay, Jeff, I got to tell you something. This is super sweet. Super sweet. It's probably gonna make you blush a little bit, but so right before we came on live for this, I was out picking up groceries. Mm-hmm. On my way home, I called home and said, "Hey, can you please have the kids come help unload the groceries, because I got to run and log in." And when I pulled in, one of my kids, my third child, Caden, came outside and said, "Dad, I'm here to help." I said, "Thank you so much." He said, "Oh, you got to go hang out with your best friend." I said, "What?" He said, "Isn't tonight your Jeff Gargas night?" I said, "I'm off."
Jeff Gargas night.
That was
awesome. I like
it. So yeah, there we go.
Well, you can officially go ahead and note that Caden's my favorite now, so that's good. Good to know.
I noticed how you didn't ask. What'd you say? Did you say yes or did you say no? I just said thank you.
I don't know. if he knows, it's because, or if they know, it's because you must talk.
Wednesdays are Jeff Gargas night. Absolutely.
For better or worse. Nikki said that's fair, Dave. So you airing grievances about her is fair. Taylor says, I break it down with Dave Schmittou. I have future goals. I break them down into smaller goals. Then I break them down into steps that I can take each day. That's why progress is such a big deal to me. All progress is good progress. Yeah, that's awesome. Tailored, and I mean that's that. I think when you look at any kind of like goal setting, vision plan, anything like that type of like systems or processes that people talk about or that are in books and stuff, they all follow a similar pattern, right? You got to figure out where you want to go, and then you backwards design. Some of them look really far out, some of them look not as far. But any of them you could tailor to however far you want to look out, right?
But there is also a danger to that, though. There really is. If you start to just think about the end goal all the time, and you don't look at the individual steps, and like Taylor does, look at the steps as progress, it can be daunting. I'm sorry, I completely cut you off, but I'll just throw this number out at you because I have this number written on my board. The number is 138,336. You know what that number represents? That's the number of steps or the number of feet in a marathon. 138,336. And so if you think, wow, I got to take 138,000 steps, you think there's no way I'll ever get there. That is crazy. So, but if in the midst of the moment, and every single step you take, you're like, okay, I just made one more. I made one more. Then you can see, I'm getting closer. So don't get yourself so overwhelmed. Take that 138,000, break it into smaller chunks and then smaller chunks so that you can feel success along the way. You've got to build momentum somehow. So anyway, I digress.
And actually, one of the things I like about looking at least 10 years out is that if you're looking at least 10 years out and you're allowing yourself to not put restriction on yourself and you're actually dreaming a little bit, you're looking far enough out where you can think big because you don't have to do it tomorrow. Right? If you set a 12-month goal, you're trying to do like a vision for like 12 months or even 3 years, it's like that comes really quick and you're like, shoot, I got to move today. Versus setting it far enough out, like your bucket list, right? Over the next 50 years, like you can set out along a goal, then you actually can take the time to break it down because you're not like, oh my God, I have to move today because it's already January 3rd and I got to do this by December 31st. Versus if you're looking at the longer term goal, the bigger goals, and you're breaking it down, even though your 12-month goals that you have to hit in order to get there might still be pretty, hefty. When compared to the end goal, they don't feel as big. It's like, like what you're saying, like it doesn't feel as big. Now you're looking at the hour long. How many steps do I got to do in an hour, right? Okay, then how do I have to do? What about a half hour? How many steps do I have to do every minute? Oh, that's not that bad now. Yeah. And breaking it down. The same thing if I'm looking for a 10, 15-year goal, but I can break that down into smaller 3-year goals, 1-year goal, and then 1-month goals, it's not as crazy of a journey. And you can actually look, and it allows you to sit back and go, oh, okay, so I can do that crazy thing that I had this plan to do or this dream to do. I think the first part about that obviously is lifting those restrictions and get rid of those limiting beliefs that you might already have. But that's a whole other thing. That's a Lindsay Titus thing. We'll bring Lindsay in for that talking to that. So Danielle has a very legit grievance that she wants to air. I have a grievance against Dave's bookshelf for not having colored light. Dave,
that is legit.
I wanted to say something, but I felt awkward, so I'm really glad that Danielle stepped up and said something like, "What gives, man?"
This goes back to the whole I want to be Jeff Gargas, and I think if that gets me a step closer, then I will get some colored lights. So let's see what Santa leaves under the tree this year. Fingers crossed.
Do it. I'm so trying to I don't know if you noticed, like I'm a little closer to my background than I used to be. I moved my desk a little bit. I adjust things around. I'm like, I have stuff everywhere. I'm still trying to figure. I'm stepping on something down there. I'm still trying to figure things out because now my lighting's slightly different because I'm in a slightly different spot. So like I'm a little darker over here than I was. And I'm like, but at least I have a colored shelf back there, like colored light.
I was going to ask you if you've been tanning, Jeff. It looks good. It looks good. Just like on one side of the face, you're like in the tanning bed, just laying on your side in the fetal position.
Yeah, Lindsay, we know you love talking limited beliefs. That's why I mentioned you. I'm not
talk about it. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try. Like that's a Lindsay Titus thing. That's just we'll tag you in for that one. So that might be maybe that's a future thing we should talk about. We should just have like a day where we bring Lindsay on and we just talk about limited beliefs. Like how do you which she has a podcast episode on that, by the way. But just let me go.
Just lay on a leather couch somewhere and just let her preach to me.
Yeah, that's all you need to do.
That's good. That's good.
Which, by the way, very early in the morning on Tuesday during our 12-hour live, Lindsay is going to join us right at 8:30, I think. And Ray and I were going through and we're like, all right, Like, what's everyone talking about? What's the focus on? What can we give them as far as like the ideas of to engage in conversation stuff? And we're like, we're looking at the half hour Lindsay, and we're like, just let Lindsay go. Yeah, just let Lindsay go. Yeah, all right.
So you asked me what my favorite thing is about the schedule. If I had a grievance about the schedule,
I know
it would be
it
that
is.
you put Lindsay Titus on right before me. That is not fair. That is so not fair.
Yeah, it's like the opening act having to come out after the Beatles.
Exactly. You're gonna see all the viewers are kind of like, meow. I mean, that's so not cool.
The thought is that she'll bring in all the viewers, and then we'll have a large crowd watching when you come on.
Well, I hope she's going to give a 30-minute talk about grace and compassion and empathy. And regardless of who's moderating what conversation, treat them like you would treat Lindsay Tice, like that. If she can set the stage like that, then I'm okay. But I know how good she is, and it's just not cool. It's not cool.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
me
too.
So, so we're gonna make it easy for Ray and I, because we got a half hour to kill until we bring Lindsay on, and then we'll get this thing going. So excited about that. So yeah, Lindsay's gonna be on at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesday for our 12-hour live. So that's gonna be a good time. And then right after that, 9 o'clock, you and Caitlin crash the party. And the pyro crew comes on. I don't even know where it goes from there. It gets out of hand at that point, in a good way, and like in the best way. So
that's absolutely right.
Yes,
that's absolutely right.
Lindsay's also just out here speaking the truth. Just speaking the truth that we're the best. Anyway. So we're going to talk about this tomorrow night, but everyone here might not be able to join us tomorrow night. So I've got to know. You were talking about your kids are doing Santa hunter traps tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. Can you give me a little of that?
So, because I know that some people in our audience might still be children. I will try to speak in code a little bit here, so forgive me. But I've got 4 kids in 4 different age ranges, 4 different belief systems in terms of what their imagination can present on Christmas Eve. So I have a couple of children that have matured and feel like they are there to help support the imaginations of the younger ones. So hopefully that makes sense. So a few years ago, I don't know if it was the Disney Channel or Freeform or ABC Family, whatever one of those shows, had this movie came out called Santa Hunters. And and my oldest at the time, he's 15 now, I think he's probably 10 when it came out. And he was fascinated by this concept of Santa Hunters. It's basically Home Alone for catching Santa. So you come up with a bunch of traps around your house to try to catch Santa in the act. And you have to try to trick Santa that you're sleeping, but you're still trying to catch him on video and camera or somehow catch Santa. So he was intrigued by this and said, I am going to come up with Santa traps for the little kids. So they take flour, they'll throw flour all over the floor to see if they can catch Santa. Yep. My older 2 will set up cameras or phones or laptops all around the house with the cameras running all night long, but set to some crazy magical setting that it's motion detector, and they will only capture a picture if somebody comes down the chimney. So they will capture a picture of Santa if necessary. And then they spend a lot of time actually, so that's just like the evidence in case their traps don't work. And then they come up with a bunch of traps, like the kind of trap that I would do back when I was 10, trying to catch squirrels or rabbits in the backyard, and boxes with sticks on them, hoping that'll trick. So they'll put like the cookies and milk underneath a giant box, hoping that Santa walks through it, or spider webs in case he walks through them, whatever. Just let them have as much fun as possible. It wears them out, gets them super excited. The first year that they did this, they wanted to stay up all night and watch their traps work. And that's when my oldest son, Cameron, said, no, actually, let's just set up cameras and we'll catch him, because if we're awake, he knows if you're sleeping or not. So we'll set up the cameras and we'll catch him doing all this stuff. So, and then the next morning, there's a whole lot of fun as we explore Photoshop and the magics of Photoshop and all the powers within it. So it's a blast.
That is really cool. That's fun. So it looks like Taylor shared, I'm assuming that's the IMDb for that
for Santa Hunters. Yeah.
For Santa Hunters. So if you want to watch that and get some ideas, there's still time to get it together. So do you guys do anything else on Christmas Eve? Do you guys do any family? I know obviously this year it's a little different. But
Yeah.
do
So,
you typically do anything, and what's it look like this year outside of setting traps?
yeah. So normally there's a lot of Christmas parties that will happen, or
Yeah.
we'll find somewhere to go. But this year, honestly, it's so living here in Michigan, where literally everything is shut down, not just family gatherings, but everything is shut down. Um, I am ordering some Famous Dave's, which is a barbecue place here. I'm going to order some beef brisket and stuff just to try to help support them a little bit, give them some business. We're going to order some of that in. We'll sit around,
Yeah,
enjoy
that's why you're
dinner.
getting it, to support
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
Because that doesn't sound delicious at all.
Nope, exactly. And then every year there's the kids open two presents. There's the one that's
Okay.
I think almost every family does. The kids get their little jammies for the night, which is always this mystery. They always act like they're surprised, whatever. And then there's a family gift that they open up, and it typically has some sort of a board game in it. And then there are clues towards a family vacation that we're going to take the following year. And they have to try to figure out what the vacation is, because on Christmas Day, other than whatever Santa might bring, whatever presents they might get are going to be things that they can use on that said vacation. And that's something that we decided to do that a few years ago, when we realized our kids, when we give them toys or whatever, by January 1st, they were done with those. So we wanted to give them some stuff that if we go on our vacation in June or July, it's like, oh, Christmas is back. I get to use that stuff I got back then. So, yeah.
Interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't do all that. You guys think through that a lot better than we do. I mean, we do typically on New Year's Eve. We'd be at my brother's house. He's an incredible cook, and we do that. And then he's got two boys, and so we would exchange gifts between our two families. So tomorrow night we're just doing that virtually. We already exchanged gifts, and then so we have all their gifts here. They have their gifts there. So we'll get on video and do that. So I am gonna go a little probably overboard, cooking just foods for just us here, just my wife and my kids here. Because we need to make it feel like we're at Uncle Mark's house. I'm gonna make a variety. He always got us just a spread of all kinds of stuff, and it's always delicious. So I'm gonna make a bunch of stuff, and we're gonna pig out, and I'm gonna eat like crazy. I think probably way more than I should, and then we'll do presents, virtually with them, and then we got Match and Chat and live with you, and then hopefully kids will pass out, and we'll do the whole, getting ready stuff. So
whatever that might look like. Yeah, that's fun.
We'll wait for. We are so far ahead this year compared to what we normally are as far as shopping done. Normally Christmas Eve's up forever, wrapping everything final. We have just a couple of little things left that we were waiting on. So we're doing pretty good. Pretty excited about that. So,
Amazon's been a game changer. Yeah.
Yeah. What about Christmas Day? What does that look like at the Schmittou house?
Oh my gosh!
Other than cleaning up all the traps.
It is. Yeah. Well, it's a disaster. I'm just going to put it out there. It is a disaster. But I'm prepared for that. So there's tons of coffee pods just waiting for me. The kids will typically wake up at 5 or 6 o'clock and start screaming that Santa came.
Good.
I will lumber downstairs, fire up the coffee pot right away. The kids know that they cannot touch a single present until Daddy has at least his first sip of coffee.
Yeah.
And then I assume the role and start holding the garbage bag open like I am the human basketball hoop. And presents are opened. We have now gotten to the point where the kids have to open one present at a time. They all.
I was just going to ask. Do they go one at a time, or are they all?
That was not me as a kid. As a kid, I was like, I'm doing my own, and we just ripped them up.
That's how my mom used to make us do. We used to go around one at a time, and I always hated it. But now I'm like, no, I get it, because I want to see them. You want to see the reaction each time. You put time and thought and that stuff. I get it now. Fortunately, there's two of them, so they go back and forth pretty quickly. But so you do one at a time. Everyone watches, so mom and daddy can see all the reactions. And
exactly. And my kids, the last 2 years have really gotten into the spirit of giving presents to each other. And I am I know what half of the presents are, because I'm responsible for getting half of them, along with the kid, for some of the kids, for each other, and my wife does the others. So I'm always fascinated to see the ones that I don't know about.
We're the same way here. It's really fun.
They are so thoughtful. Yeah. It is crazy. They are so good. I love seeing that.
We do that. We take them out. They get to buy obviously for each other, and then for us, and then for their aunts and uncles and grandma and grandpas, which is always fun. And this year we did it all. We did most of it all together last year. This year we split them. So I don't know. I don't know like what's going to like my parents or her. Like I'm like it's gonna be a lot of fun to see because sometimes they're a little out there, but in a thoughtful way. Like you when you figure out the connection, you're like, oh, I totally get it. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's why like just little things like they I think last year they both got my brother Mark like a spatulas or a spoon. And it was like this, like I'm like, oh, because they think of Uncle Mark because he cooks. He cooks when we
That's
go on
awesome.
vacation
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
He cooks when we're at the house. Like, oh, that's actually a really sweet gift. Like, makes a lot of sense. And it's just stuff like that. So it's really fun when you get them. They have that given spirit like that, and you can see that. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
For sure.
I love how involved the older ones are at your house. That's pretty
amazing.
special.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
that could go a lot of a completely other way. So that's pretty good.
Well, yeah, it's so good because
well done over there.
Yeah, well, what do you buy like teenagers? It gets so expensive. It's all they want are
Gift
electronics or phones. I mean, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
the fact that now they are getting to this place now where they're switching their focus and almost having that like parent lens where it's all about I just want to see the reaction of the others now and they want to make the experience so good. Oh, it's everything.
That's cool. That's really good. I remember the other night when Jacqueline, our daughter, who is 6, we talked about how we weren't going to do our typical stuff, but at some point we were going to go out and be super safe to great grandma and grandpa. Just go in so that they can watch you open your gifts, and that's all we're going to do. Because we don't want to put them in danger. And she's like, her first reaction is like, "Oh, good." She's like, "I wonder how many gifts I'm going to get." I said, "Well, does it matter?" She said, "No." And I'm like, "Oh, well, that's good. Good answer." I'm like, "What's it actually matter? Like, what actually matters? What's it about?" Because it's just that we get to be together and see people we love. And I'm like, "That's nice."
That's awesome.
Now, I don't ask my son the same question because I don't know if the answer is going to be the right one or not. But it's a little bit of a rigged test. I'm pretty sure he would answer the same way. It's nice when you see that and like they get that because I think they enjoy all of it better and just more at that point. We were talking about like the kids getting the toys and they're done with it by like mid, couple weeks into January. Jonathan still has gifts from last Christmas that he hasn't opened, like the box, like action figures or whatever, like that are still just stacked that he's never opened.
Go grab that sucker and wrap it, man. Go wrap it.
We talked about it. We joked about it. But so this year we really focused on not doing, like not getting like the little toy things and stuff that they see when they're like looking through the toy catalog that still comes from Amazon and stuff. But like, so it'll be fun to see. I'm excited about it. I never thought I'd get there when I was younger, but now it's like that's the best thing. It's just watching it in the morning. So
it's crazy.
So yeah, Megan says her son has Lego sets like that. Yeah, they just sit around. Jonathan does tend to get his Lego sets out. It's more like the action figure stuff. He just doesn't get as every now and then, but very rarely gets into that. To like set like me. I was like a huge GI Joe kid, and like set the battles in my room and stuff. He's just not that. I'm definitely much more of a video game guy, but then like he likes to like build if he's not playing that way. So we'll see. It's gonna be fun. It'll be fun to see stuff. Man, we're at just like 2 minutes left here. We got into it today about Christmas. Sweet. So wrapping up, I hope that you'll join us tomorrow night for Mastery Chat, or at least schedule the answers so we can see where you're at and share some value that way. And then join Dave and I. Like I said, we're gonna be live. We'll probably talk about his kids' traps again. So we'll get a report for like how that's going at the house. I think we're gonna bring up the tracker so we can track Santa as well. So that'll be a good time. I know that's a big thing Ray loves doing. So,
yeah.
And then so I hope if you don't join us, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas if you celebrate. And regardless of any of that, I hope you'll join us next Tuesday for our 12-hour live event that's going 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. Eastern time. People dropping in all day long. If you can get past the fact that you're going to see a lot of me and a lot of Dave, I think it'd be well worth your time. So I hope you join us then. Dave, am I forgetting anything? Is that what we're touching on? Is that good?
No, you actually knew who was hosting Mastery Chat tomorrow, which is amazing.
It was me, so I hope so.
You knew the date, and yeah, I think we're good, man.
I did look at the date right as I was pushing to go live, but I did think of that, so I'm excited about that. So anyway, appreciate everyone watching. Hope you have a very Merry Christmas if you celebrate. Hope to see you tomorrow night. We'll definitely see you next Tuesday. Dave, appreciate you, brother. Everyone have just a fantastic rest of your evening tonight. And welcome to winter break. If you're just getting started, I hope you're taking some time for yourself and spending it with people that you love and relaxing and re-energizing. So appreciate y'all. We'll see you.